Welcome to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Marcellus, Wiley here with Emmanuel Acho.
My brother, starting off the week strong, man.
You are strong.
Man,
I heard the whole dressing room go, woo, look at him today. I didn't know what I was going to come out to. Looking good, brother. Let's start it off with two guys who are looking good as well. The best in the NBA bubble, LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard, who both led their teams to the second round of the playoffs over the weekend. Paul George said Kawhi, quote, put us on his back, and he finished the series, while LeBron led the Lakers to the conference semifinals for the first time in nearly a decade. Let's take a look at the two stars in the playoffs. Kawhi leads in points, and they're tied in rebounds, but LeBron leads in assists and shooting. So, Acho, who's been more impressive in the playoffs? LeBron or Kawhi?
No, ain't like you had to think about it that damn long. I don't. It's LeBron James. It's the King James. And it's actually simple. It's whether I want to give you an opinion, Marcellus, or whether I want to give you a fact based off stats, it's LeBron James. First, let me give you an opinion.
Let's go.
LeBron, as you said, not myself, beat a better team easier than Kawhi. Again, you, sir, said, not myself, that the Trailblazers were better than the Mavs.
The team that wouldn't be in any other
year. Sir.
Okay, I know what
you
we're doing.
said it, sir.
Okay, I'm here.
But let's move past that. Let's also talk about the fact that what LeBron did, he gave you same amount of rebounds. He gave you twice as many assists as Kawhi, and he gave you less points, but he gave you the exact same amount of points per minute. Remember, Kawhi played 7 minutes more a game than LeBron, meaning over the course of those 6 games, Kawhi actually played an entire game more than LeBron James. That's just simple stats. These are not my opinions. But the most important thing is this.
You told me you were going to give me an opinion.
Most important thing is this. Kawhi, Marcellus, he had to do what he did because his number 2, Paul George, missing in action. Anybody seen Paul George for the first 4 games? Missing in action. So Kawhi had to do that. Whereas LeBron, he still balled while AD was also getting his. So LeBron gave you just as many boards, gave you twice as many assists, and gave you the identical amount of points per minute. There's nothing Kawhi did better than LeBron. LeBron did the same thing. He just did it in less time.
Wow, you just sound like you just helped my argument, which is Kawhi Leonard picking up a teammate. Oh, that helps LeBron or that helps Kawhi? Because Kawhi has been the consistent #1 factor why the Clippers were able to advance. Thanks for making my argument with opinions or facts. I don't know. But I know what you are trying to do.
What am I trying to do?
Trying to clean up your image right now. Because there's video out there trending of my boy talking blasphemy about these Lakers. Don't come in here today and try to clean up all the ice cream on the floor you spilled. It ain't going to happen. Laker fans still hate this dude because I was here witnessing the blasphemy. But in all seriousness, man, it's Kawhi Leonard, and I would say this. The inconsistency of having a number 2 that you can't rely on is really going to be something that you got to keep into account and keep in mind when you're thinking about splitting the hairs of these two guys. Both were tremendous. Please don't clip this out. Both were tremendous. But when you look at what Kawhi Leonard did, one, he didn't have a tap-out game. Even in a win, LeBron had a 10-point game. Kawhi's like, if I had a 10-point game, I know what that looks like in the win-loss column for the Clippers. A definite L, in part because of Paul George. You misspoke. You said, where was Paul George in the first 4 games? First game, he balled 27 points. Don't do that to Paul George. I know we want to pile on.
3 games. Apologies. My bad, people. My bad.
We want to pile on, but we can't. What Kawhi is quietly doing, and he always does it silently. You know, he's already won 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs.
That's a fact.
And he's kind of silently about it. The G is silent, you know, in lasagna, you know. And here's the thing about Kawhi. Right now, he is putting up peak Jordan performance numbers. Listen to this line. 32, 7, and 4 over the last 4 games. Only 5 people in NBA history have been able to do that in postseason history, and Michael Jordan did it 5 times in the '93 finals. Basically what we're seeing, but we're not going to give it credit, is that this is peak level Jordan in terms of consistency, in terms of every single day, I'm going to show up. And even if my number 2 doesn't show up, I will fill in the void and still get us over the hump.
Let me do something which most shows aren't going to do, and you did it right and you did it perfectly. Both dudes balled. Right? Can we just be real?
Can we not?
Can we just not sit here and start yelling so much that we forget? Like, I'm watching the game last night, and I'm like, the only reason we don't give Kawhi a ton of credit, because he does it so effortlessly. Like, Kawhi makes it look so easy. He gets to his spots, his mid-range spots, or he gets to the hoop, uses his size, uses his body, gets little men out the way, and gets buckets. He just makes it look so easy. So let's just establish that.
Okay.
Like, really, we arguing great versus greater. But I'm talking about who was greater, so let me get back to LeBron. Let me get back to LeBron.
Here you go, Laker fans. Here he is.
Think about this. Think about this, Marcellus. What LeBron do in the loss? First game, he gave you 23, 17, and 16.
That's stanky.
23, 17, and 16. And you know what we said? You know what I said? You know what Shaquille O'Neal said? That wasn't enough. I need more. I need more. I need more. We got to see more. I need more. Like, the dude gave you a historic performance, and we said that wasn't enough. If Kawhi gave you 23, 17, and 16, we would be hailing him as Jordan. Not even the potential Jordan, the Jordan lookalike. We would be hailing Kawhi as Jordan. Think about what LeBron did. 20-point triple-double is what he's on pace for. We've seen that happen twice in NBA history in the postseason. Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook. Okay. Both those players didn't get out the first round, which LeBron James did in 5 games. So what LeBron is doing, we're just so numb to. Marcellus, we have LeBron James fatigue. We have greatness fatigue. The dude backdoors and gives you 38, 12, and 8 in game 3. When, mind you, it was still a toss-up, right? We weren't sure if the Blazers were done for, if the Blazers were about to come back and steal another game from the Lakers. 38, 12, and 8. Well, we have LeBron fatigue. So Kawhi is great. I'm not going to sit here and try to act like Kawhi is amazing. And Kawhi plays defense. Amazing. But the reason I'm going with LeBron is because in the midst of this fatigue, I'm still in awe of his greatness. To give you 23, 17, 16, 2 games later, give you 38, 12, and 8, then give you another 30-point game, then give you another 30-point game. And mind you, he didn't even play in the 4th quarter of one of them games. It's hard to argue against LeBron's greatness.
At age 35, while solving racism and inequality. He's doing a lot. He's doing a lot. No wonder he's losing his hair. Like, no wonder. He got too much on his damn plate. I love the fact that you just balanced it all by saying, look, respect for social distancing, but we ain't got to be that damn far apart in terms of appreciation.
Thank you.
So let's bring in somebody who may appreciate my stance more than yours. Slick Ric Bucher, Fox NBA analyst. So, Slick, who's been more impressive in the playoffs, LeBron or Kawhi?
I agree with the premise that both have been impressive. But who has been more impressive? Kawhi Leonard has been more impressive. And Acho, I'm not going to take issue with you picking LeBron because it is so close. That's not my problem.
Okay.
My problem is with your argument.
Okay.
And you mentioned statistics heavily about the triple doubles. If we look at the bubble and we look at the statistics overall, all of the offensive statistics are through the roof. Jamal Murray, with his 50-point games and consecutive 40-point scoring, has done something that hasn't been done. I mean, he's got individually, single-handedly, has more 50-point games, if I'm not mistaken, that we saw in like a decade plus in the playoffs overall by anybody. So it tells you that you can't go by the numbers. And even if I wanted to go by the numbers, you know, one of the numbers that doesn't play very well for LeBron is the fact that he was also averaged 5 turnovers a game, which takes a lot of the steam out of that difference in assists over Kawhi. But the big thing is the minutes. You mentioned the minutes and the difference in the minutes played. And yes, that equates to more numbers. But the reason Kawhi played more minutes is because he had to play more minutes.
But
because
Rick, isn't
the
that an
Clippers
indictment?
simply weren't effective without him.
But Slick, I think you might have just undermined yourself because you can't blame LeBron James in game 4, if I'm not mistaken, for being so efficient through the first 3 quarters that, you know what, last quarter, I'm going to just kick back and chill. You feel me, Slick? Like, if the greatest argument is that Kawhi had to do it, it's not LeBron's fault that he beat you in 3 quarters so he could take his 4th quarter off.
No, it's not. And I'm not faulting LeBron for that, but you're asking me who was more impressive. So if Kawhi has to carry more weight, I can say, hey, you know what? LeBron only had to carry 300 pounds. Kawhi carried 500 pounds because he had to carry 500 pounds because he didn't have any other cat who could pick up the other 200 pounds. So that's where Anthony Davis and the way he played in particular. I mean, look, LeBron wasn't even the leading scorer on his team. And I know I always say stars get theirs, superstars get theirs, and get numbers for other guys. I would just take a step back and look at these two particular their performances. And for me, watching both of them, there were times where the Lakers functioned just fine without LeBron. We're dominating without LeBron. And there were very few times when Kawhi was off the